Hello and welcome to Yoga for Recovery as part of the Yoga Strength for Everyday Endurance Cyclist course. Today we're going to be working on lizard poses, which is one of the most effective poses for creating extra mobility in your hips as a runner and as a cyclist. We're going to start in a puppy pose, and in puppy pose we'll be in a tabletop, but then we're going to extend our arms. I'm going to move my knees back a little bit. And puppy is kind of a cross between a child's pose and a downward dog. And what we're doing is keeping my hips over my knees. Hopefully that's what it feels like, and that's what matters. And then my hands are extended and my fingers are wide. We'll inhale and then drop my collarbones a little bit towards the mat. That's the goal. Inhale your torso up, your exhale your collarbones down. You can always do a little bit of movement with your shoulders. This is primarily a shoulder opener in terms of your joints, but it also helps to open up your front body. And there's a little bit of a stretch that happens in your hamstrings and in your glutes as well. The other primary tool here is to practice our breathing like we have been practicing throughout the course. Inhaling into our belly and exhaling down as far as your shoulders and torso will allow you. And again, it doesn't matter what it looks like. I could care less what I look like. What I'm feeling is that I'm trying to open up my front body and open up my shoulders. Good. All right, I'm going to leave my fingers where they are. I'm going to come into a downward dog because it is a really good way of getting into lizard. All right, in lizard, I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to bring my right foot forward and drop my left knee. And then magically my block appears. Sometimes having this block is really nice to have because in lizard, what you are doing is putting both hands inside of your right knee. And sometimes that's a bit of a challenge, especially right off the bat. So I will often have a block to start with on the long, tall end. And the goal here is just like what we have done in the low lunges, is to inhale and then roll our hips forward. And inhale back and exhale forward. And as I start feeling a little more comfortable, I'm going to reduce my use of the block. Now I'm just going to get out in the short fat end. And again, the main difference between lizard and lunge is that it gets at a little bit more into your hamstrings and the back of your right glute, in addition to the usual work that's happening in your left hip flexors. So the top of your left foot is on the mat. That's going to create a little bit more movement. All right, I'm going to try it without the block now. And this is about as far as it's going to go. There's not a lot of movement that's happening here. I'm going to inhale, bring my hips up, inhale into my belly through my nose, and exhale, come a little bit closer. And there's sometimes when you will feel your muscle start to open and lengthen. And then let's let it happen on the exhale. And on the inhale, just come right back up and let it happen again. All right, now, the next part is the fun part of lizard. You're going to leave your left hand on the mat. Bring your right hand up to your right knee. All right, now, if you choose to, you can also just leave your hand here. What we're going to try and do though is bring our right shoulder up as we are also rolling forward. So it's inhale, drop my shoulder, push my hip back, and exhale, lift the shoulder, bring the hip forward. If you want to, you can bring your arm up towards the ceiling on the exhale. So this becomes an incredibly powerful move for so much in your hips and your shoulders and your spine, your quads. There's a little bit of strength work happening in your left arm and shoulder. Not a lot, because your knee and foot take up a lot of the weight. I'll do one more. Good. Bring my right hand down, bring my right foot back, curl my toes under, and come into a downward dog. Bit of a rest here. Also opening up my shoulders a little bit. So the inhale is to come up on my tiptoes. The exhale can be pushing one heel down. Inhale up, pushing the other heel down. All right, now we're going to inhale, and I'm bringing my left foot forward, dropping my right knee, and I'm going to come into a lizard pose on this side. Since I'm already a little open, I'm going to just use part of the block, and I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to inhale, bring my hips back, and exhale through my nose, just let the air out, and bring my hips forward. Do a couple more breaths here. Another option for you to do when you're doing this, if you're feeling really comfortable with this, is you can drop your high knee, you can drop it out into a lizard wing or a dragon wing, but that gets a lot more complicated. Not complicated, that's the wrong word. Challenging if you have limited mobility in your hips. All right, right hand stays down, left hand on your knee. I'm going to flip around here. And again, you can leave your hand on your knee, or you can do the full twist. Inhale, bring your hips back. Exhale, bring your arms up overhead. There you go. Do one more here. All right, now we'll come into our final pose, which we're not going to do much of because it's a bit of a challenge, but it's also just a really nice way of finishing, especially since we've been doing a lot of work trying to open up our hip flexors. We're going to try and open up our quads a little more. I'm using my block again because I have no flexibility when it comes to this, but I'm going to sit on it. All right, so my knees are apart, about shoulder width apart, and I'm going to sit on the block, and I'm going to have my hands on my ankles. The goal is to be laying backwards. And I'm not going to be able to do that. Some of you are going to be able to go boom right away. And I get a little bit close, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time. All right, so the inhale is obviously bringing your, and watch out for foot cramps because sometimes I get them, like I'm getting one right now. Inhale, and we're just going to be leaning back, like I can bring the block to its, not quite there yet. There, so I'm sitting it on the lengthwise, and we're going to bring my arms back and exhale. All right, so we'll end here. You can make this go as long as you feel like you want to, but I am going to stop there. So you've got a good workout of recovery for your hips and shoulders in this. This is all part of the yoga course. If you have other questions about yoga for everyday endurance athletes, strength training, or coaching with Simple Endurance Coaching, please sign up with the virtual coffee below us. All right, take care. We'll see you soon.